But Justice, what can the international community really do? I mean, we cannot, Malacanang has already said, we're not asking for a UN vote on the issue. What kind, you were talking about convincing other countries. What form will this take? And then if we can convince enough countries, what can the international community do?
Well, this is the original plan, no? Where after we planned that when the ruling uh, would come out, we would campaign among the countries. We would go to Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, Indonesia, because they are in the same boat. They're prejudiced by the nine-dash line. And we would tell them that we would bring this to the United Nations General Assembly. And we would ask our ally, the US, and all our friends, UK, France, Germany, Australia, Japan, to support us. If you put together the economic aid of the US, UK, France, Germany, Australia, you put them together, they would be far more than the economic aid that China gives to other countries. So this is a huge support. These countries have a huge influence over developing countries. They could convince these developing countries to vote for us. And these developing countries have their own coastline. And they're also afraid that their bigger neighbors might seize their exclusive economic zone. Their only protection is UNCLOS. Without UNCLOS, they would be at the mercy of their bigger neighbors. So they have a self-interest also to see to it that UNCLOS is served, that China respects the decision, because if China does not respect the decision, UNCLOS will collapse. And if UNCLOS collapses, there's nothing that will protect their exclusive economic zone. To protect their exclusive economic zone, they have to buy warships, war-based missiles. It's very expensive. They will divert funds that's supposed to go to education, social services. They'll have to use that to buy arms. Everybody will be the loser. So every state really has an interest in preserving UNCLOS.
Okay.
So
I
we
mean,
expect
Justice,
really an overwhelming majority to support us.
Justice Carpio, only because you mentioned Malaysia and Vietnam, I mean, I'll shift topic a little bit here, but it's still related. Um, uh, because of Malaysia and care of our Foreign Affairs Secretary, the issue of Sabah has come up again. And question to you, sir, how should we be handling the question of Sabah now? And what implication might our position on that have in wanting to have this united front in the South China Sea?
I have already explained publicly that the territory of the Sultan of Sulu never faced the South China Sea. So the territory of the Sultan of Sulu has no territorial sea, no exclusive economic zone facing the South China Sea, facing the West Philippine Sea. The territory of the Sultan of Sulu faced the Sulu Sea and the Celebes Sea. So there is no overlap. We are not waiving anything if we enter into a, let's say, sea boundary agreement with Malaysia facing the South China Sea, because the territory of the Sultan of Sulu never faced the South China Sea. And
No, but I ask in the context. We asked her in the context of our relationship with Malaysia, and as you said, us wanting to have a united front, certainly among the ASEAN claimants in territories that are in the South China Sea. I ask in the context of that. I mean, on the one hand, we keep bringing up this reopening this sensitive topic on Sabah. On the other hand, we want Malaysia on our side when we bring up everything that we want to bring up against China.
Yeah, that's precisely my point. There is no overlap. There's no inconsistency, because the territory of the Sultan of Sulu, which we are claiming, has no coastline facing the South China Sea. So we can separate the issues. These are two separate issues. They do not overlap. And let us not combine them, because if we combine them, then we cannot form a common front. Let us separate them. And with that, we can enter into a common front with Vietnam and Malaysia, because these are the three countries that are
I
facing
see.
the spread list.
I see.
So we can do that. There was a note verbal that we sent in protest to the extended continental shelf claim of Malaysia, but I think we made an error there because we said that the territory of the Sultan of Sulu uh, has an exclusive as maritime zones facing the West Philippine Sea. And the Malaysian note verbal was also wrong in saying that we are claiming uh, maritime zones beyond territorial sea in the spread list. No, we're not. And we have amended our baselines law to comply strictly with UNCLOS, and that has been settled in the arbitration. So I think both sides now realize that there's really no overlap. Uh, we can separate both disputes so that we can
I see.
face China with a common front.